Okay. Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Ira Keener. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Dealogikal, a global online commodity trading platform. Okay, so in the commodity trading space, historically and from personal experience, what we've come to learn is basically commodity trading ends up becoming a very time-consuming process. For instance, when you're out there trying to seek the best price, best buying price for a particular product, like in this case, let's just say petroleum, the traditional method of doing things is to call each individual supplier individually before you can come up with a good price. Secondarily, pricing isn't really, the market isn't really that competitive, especially in the petroleum trading space, because there isn't really a platform in which suppliers can basically compete with one another to foster or to produce like a more downward pressure on pricing. In addition, there's a limited network that's currently available to buyers and sellers. Lack of visibility, and unfortunately this has basically been accepted as the current market norm. Enter Dealogikal. And so what Dealogikal does essentially is basically bring buyers and sellers together in an unprecedented online community. Next slide. So what we found since rolling Dealogikal.
I'm not sure if everyone understands the core of what you're doing. You're building a marketplace to allow people to buy and sell commodities. What kind of commodities? Petroleum.
Right now, oil and gas. But we're going to scale to other products as well.
In the Philippines?
Yes, the Philippines and scale to the ASEAN and then globally.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So right now, what we found since we basically launched our first version about a month and a half ago is that we can save each of our buyers about 80% from. No, so, I'm sorry. We save them about 80% from the time that they used to be able to take to consummate a transaction. In addition, we've also found that we can increase their productivity by about 5 times. For instance, when somebody needs to call like a source from their supplier, sometimes they have to call five different times to each supplier in order to come up with a price. But now, instead of doing that, they basically just key in their order. That gets disseminated to all of the sellers within the ecosystem. And then all of the suppliers get to key in their offers all at once. That then gets displayed on what we call the over-the-counter bulletin board, where the buyers and the sellers can basically see how their orders rank vis-a-vis one another. And then there's a bit of a competitive selection process, which currently is patent pending in several different countries, which basically fosters competition within the platform. So there's a bit of dynamism that's involved once the prices are displayed on the bulletin board, because there's visibility between all the different sellers. So let's say, for instance, if there were 5 different sellers, each of the different sellers could basically see where they rank, and they can change their price within the specified auction duration, effectively, promoting competition within the platform. And so
you got to speed up a bit.
Sure. Okay. So basically, the average savings that we've come to learn from the month and a half that we've been in operation is that we can save our buyers about 10%. We charge a 1% fee, so basically for a net gain of 9%. In the 1.5 months that we've been in operation, we've already moved 1.1 million liters for a total revenue of 449,000 within Dealogikal, but then total transaction value that's assessed against this is basically that 1%, so 44.9 is the amount of money that's flown through the platform. These are the numbers, based on very conservative estimates that we've garnered from the sample size since we've started. We can certainly discuss that in more detail, subsequent to this presentation. So some of the socioeconomic benefits that we've found that the platform does, and it's been very well received by the Philippine government, particularly the Department of Finance. We presented this to the secretary himself, and we found that it basically helps eliminate corruption in a way, because now if for instance, like the government has this used as a procurement tool, now all of the transactions are captured within an online database. And when all these transactions are captured, the audit. Go ahead. No problem. No problem. No problem. No problem.
Who are the customers that are buying and selling?
Okay, so on the sell side, we have Petron, Chevron, Shell, Phoenix, Flying V, Insular
So
Oil.
how many of these are using your platform right now?
Right now, all of them have participated in one way, shape, or form.
And they're sticking with the platform? Or they're
Yes.
So you make, they're saving themselves 10% and you're earning 1% of that?
Yeah, the suppliers are basically getting more access to deal flow, and the buyers are saving about 10%, yes.
Buyers normally. Who are your buyers?
So the buyers are basically end users like power plants, mining companies, aviation companies, basically every industry.
And they want to buy the best deal they can for
Yes.
bulk. Like what's the average purchase of?
The average purchase price is basically, well, on a per liter basis, if we look at it on that basis, we're looking at about 35 pesos, like, since.
No, I mean in terms of deal size.
Transaction.
Yeah, transaction size.
Oh, okay, transaction size, we're looking at about $1 million to $5 million per transaction.
Pesos, right?
Yes.
So what do you look for? Where you built something already,
Well,
you built some traction.
We basically, okay, so what we want to do is we want to scale across. Right now we're basically spread very thickly in the oil and gas space, but we want to scale coal, crops, coconuts, renewables, and develop Dealogikal Light, which is basically designed more for small to mid-sized companies.
So if you're doing things like
Sure.
crops, coconuts, then you're competing against cooperatives? Or
No,
Well-
we're competing with, like for example, for the crops, for example, for the rice, we're going to be competing with the importers.
Yes.
With the rice, as one of the rice, we import a lot.
yeah, now we do. Okay.
So scale across the ASEAN, scale globally, and then eventually.
So
develop
this will
local.
encourage the local market, or people to buy from the local market, so they can see the deals that are available.
Yes.
Okay, so you're cutting out certain middlemen then? Or-
Yeah, they're cutting out the middle. They're cutting out because if you look at commodity, whoever controls the volume controls the price.
Right. So the bigger companies would be your customers.
Yes. All of the oil majors have basically already subscribed to the site. We've onboarded them. They are now participating. So if you were to key in an order into the platform right now, you would get offers from each and every single one of them.
And you've made money. You're running this for how long?
For a month and a half. It was originally conceptualized back in 2011, but then there was a lack of smartphone penetration at the time.
Okay.
So now we found it to be the most opportune
How many
moment.
people involved? You and
Me, the total number of people involved, there's 10 of us.
and how many investors have invested already?
Well, so far, the two corporations that I've had over the last 10 years have been the seed and angel investors into this. But now we're looking for a little bit more capital so that we can scale and
All right, so
basically.
let's get to it. How
Sure.
much?
Well, we're basically asking for 50 million for 10%.
Anyone? 50 million for 10%. So you value the company at 500
Yes,
million already?
we ran projections based on empirical data.
But how much are you making right now?
Maybe $400,000.
No, they didn't make-
already.
So you made 400,000
No, we've revenue we've made 440, half a million pesos
in pesos.
Half a
not
million.
dollars. That was in dollars. I
in,
thought that was
in,
dollars.
in 1.5 months. No, that was basically there was no currency attached to it.
Okay.
Okay.
500 pesos.
I thought it was. So yeah, that's $500,000 in commissions, and you already value it the company at 500 million.
Well, we have the numbers to support it, and we can certainly discuss
What
that.
numbers are $500,000 pesos in 1.5 months?
Half a million pesos in 1.5 months. Yes.
Right. So extrapolate that for the next, say, one year, for example. How much will you make?
Yeah. So basically, if half a million, we ran our feasibility studies, and we've seen that we can generate about 1.5 million pesos, 1.5 million pesos in free cash flow per user, and we are forecasting to get 25 users in the first year, and then doubling every year thereafter.
So when will I get my 50 million plus?
Between year 4 to 5.
Well, it's enough time for me to wait, you know?
If the company goes public, it could happen a lot sooner.
I'm getting old, you know, I want faster returns these days.
Yeah, well, get it to public and it'll get there.
It's interesting. I think nobody's still really doing this kind of model It's tough though, especially for commodity, but I think it's a really good idea.
Anyone else doing it, or you're the only ones doing it?
Well, we have patents pending, so we've searched far and wide, and we found that none of the other commodity exchanges basically offer the same competitive selection process.
Patent exactly.
It's on the competitive selection process. It's because it gives the suppliers a chance to basically compete with one another. Because like with a traditional auction, they're all blind. You can't see what the other suppliers are offering. So with this platform,
One last question.
sure.
When the deal actually happens, does that mean you're actually holding a certain amount of money for these guys if they don't go through with the deal?
Yes.
Like an escrow.
That's a great question. What we're looking to do is basically all of the transactions are basically cash before delivery at this particular point in time. But we're already in very significant and advanced discussions with the most sophisticated bank, the most technologically sophisticated bank here in the Philippines to extend credit. We're under NDA, so I can't say anything. So basically, it'll allow one to basically, get credit from a bank instead, and so the bank can facilitate the transaction. So if the supplier is unable to deliver, we're also going to get ask them to get insurance policies for that.
Is this Union Bank you're talking about?
We're under NDA. I can't say who. Sorry. I suffice it to say the most technologically sophisticated bank here is taking interest not only in investing in it, but also in co-developing it with us.
But is it blockchain based, smart contract?
I can't say. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay, I probably know who you're dealing with. So yeah. I think. I don't know. You'll have to talk to me later.
And so
Okay.
yeah.
That's it.
Great.
We've gone over time a bit.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Well, good
Thank you,
job.
thank you.
so much.